Welcome. You're listening to a Mr. Thrive media production.
Franky Fade is a music producer who comes here on the show not just to introduce his new single, but also primarily to provide unique advice that you never hear most musical talent provide. I'm incredibly excited for you to hear this personal, intimate interview that I had with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Franky Fade. Franky, welcome to the show. It's been far too long in the making to make this happen. I'm so pumped you're here.
Appreciate it, man.
Franky, you came onto this show because you have something really exciting to announce. We've kind of teased it a little bit with this trivia. What's going on in the life of Franky and where's it going right now?
Well, that's not really why I came on to the show. That has something to do with it, but I believe I have something to offer in the form of information that would actually inspire people, not specifically in the music business, but Hakeem Khalik, co-founder of the Radio Bums, he's the one that taught me about the music business and how you can actually make money. Taught me that you have to have an intention behind everything that you're doing. And that's really the main way that you're going to elevate in yourself and your skill and your talents at a high level. So intention. Intention is the word for today, for this interview.
In this case, though, as you stated at the beginning, your intention really is to elevate others and to educate and to really come on, not just to talk about yourself, but to talk about something that can really be impactful to someone listening.
You go through life and there's like things that happen to you that you notice around you that could only be God, and it could only be some kind of force that's outside of you. Like there's no way you could have made this up. Those kinds of things are special to actually pay attention to. Music producers and songwriters that think they want to do this. It's not who you know.
It's not who you know.
It's not who you know.
So let's say I'm new to Los Angeles. I don't know anybody here. I have talent. I have skill, like so many people do.
Mm-hmm.
What's my first step? What am I doing to pursue this complicated, twisted industry correctly?
So when I say it's not who you know, it's who you make yourself to attract the people that want to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, like things weren't happening for me for years and years and years, up until I started to change my mind and get over fear. Once I started getting tired of chasing people and the who's and the what's what, the whole, Hollywood scene and the whole like trying to get on and all that stuff. And once you get fed up with that, you start to focus on yourself and have a narrow vision of how can I be the greatest? Knocking on doors and standing outside, just basically waiting on somebody to give me a shot. That I said, man, fuck this. I'm going to make my own shot.
That's right. I think that's one of the most underrated rules that is overlooked on a regular basis. Yeah.
And this situation that I'm going to talk about in this show is actually, it's a result of that.
So you said Billy Ray Cyrus collaborated with Snoop Dogg. You got to work on that, and not only work on it, but you wrote the lyrics for it.
I wrote the song 8 years ago. So the record came about where I was really, focusing on myself. And then these people attracted to me. Shout out to Malik Rashid. At the time, he was an A&R at Epic Records under L.A. Reid, who had signed my artist at the time. He introduced me to the Avila brothers, and they had an opportunity to work with this country singer. I wrote this song to this beat that Avila actually produced. Had sent me this record, and Bobby was like, hey, I'm hearing on this record a song about a man that works hard and gets out and provides for his family and all that stuff. And I'm hearing the concept, and it resonated with me so much because my father had just passed in that time. The very last thing that he had told me before he passed was never stop working hard, son. So the record, it came so natural and I finished it so quick. I was like, okay, I'm gonna call this hardworking man The very first lyric was, Papa told me, you got to work hard, get your hustle on. You know, those are the very lyrics my dad told me when he passed. And really, the only parts that were included in the song at the time was Billy Ray's parts.
Wow.
At the time, it wasn't for Billy Ray, but as I was writing the record, I kept seeing him in my mind. Because when I write lyrics and melodies and stuff, I always write on my laptop. And then I have tabs open, photos of the artist that I'm channeling in my mind. And I had a photo of Billy Ray Cyrus on my computer as I was writing the record.
So you made a vision board with these lyrics. That's sick.
Basically. The crazy thing about it is the one person that's the most excited out of everybody involved in the process is Billy Ray.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Snoop writes his verse around what I did, what I had written. And originally it was a demo that was sung by myself. It hadn't been recorded yet by Billy Ray. Snoop records his part, and then we finally get in the studio in Nashville at Yamaha Studios to record Billy Ray with my song and lyrics. And, you know, when it finally got done, I had already been so invested in the process of like understanding the sequence of events and how it happened up until that time that I was like, everything was just felt like so like regular to me. I wasn't flipping out. I was just like, okay, this just needs to get done. I wasn't high-fiving. I wasn't celebrating. But what I've found in multiple situations like that is that you can't break your composure.
Don't break your composure. Okay.
Until it's actually set in stone. You know, in this case, the record is out. It's on the radio. Everybody's downloading. Everybody's sharing. You know, that Billy Ray and Snoop's performing it. We're getting a Grammy. That's when I can be like, and I can look back like, dang. Because as soon as you do that in the process, if you do that in the process, you know, you're running risk of actually, I don't know. I feel like it's just bad juju. It's not advisable to get excited in the moment. Like it hasn't happened yet. Don't get too excited. Let that shit be released first before you can say, oh, wow, that's amazing.
Wise words of wisdom. Yeah.
Very important message behind this record. It's called Hardworking Man. The narrative out there, it's almost like you don't feel like the man who is a hardworking person who has a family to take care of. It doesn't feel like when Father's Day comes around, you know, it's not a big deal. It's just like, wow, it's Father's Day. I'll get my dad some jeans or something like that. Mother's Day comes around. She's getting flowers. I'm taking you out. We're going here. We're going there. Like, and you know, everybody's making posts about their mom and how much, you know, she did for them. And so, and it's rightfully so. But, you know, the hardworking man needs an anthem too. So I felt like that song came like at the perfect moment for me. Like it was meant for me to write that record, being that my dad had just said those, you know, dying words to me, never stop working hard, son. Wow. And, you know, this had to be an anthem. It's important to take notes of these, you know, instances. It teaches you how important it is to know that this isn't all about you.
Right. And it's a very humbling experience when you go through that. It isn't about you and it is about you. I would say that the part that isn't about you, you know, consequences are not about you. It's just a part of life. The struggle that everyone goes through is just a part of this experience that we have as a human being. You're born in this world, not by choice, you're brought into it. And that lack of free will is the pain that just is natural with life, including death, including waking up in the morning and getting to work again. You know, it's very real.
Sure.
But the part that is about you is how you overcome that, how you choose to seek your life, how you choose to build inwardly, and how you choose to execute outwardly. And it seems like you've kind of become a master of that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could use your mentorship to get to that level on a deep therapeutic life coach kind of way almost. And so you should be proud of yourself if you're not already.
I'm proud of that, but it's almost like it's just an assignment that you have, you know, whether it's from God or wherever it's from. It's an assignment that you have, because not everybody's born with the same qualities for some reason, like with the same abilities. And it's like, you know, if you have that thing, you know, if you're it's almost like the it factor, man. Like, you can't manufacture an amazing performer like Beyonce, for example.
Right.
If it was that easy to create somebody like that and duplicate that, then it would be done over and over and over. Like, that's special. Like, that's the epitome of it factor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever like needed to explain the definition of the it factor to somebody, just say Beyonce.
When you say the it factor, we're thinking of individual people. You can't say that you have to do A plus B to equal C to make the it factor. Everyone has a different journey to the it factor.
Right. You can't make it up. Like, there's a formula to being better or being more skilled, but there's a higher power, there's a higher importance of someone that is just a polarizing being. You know what I'm saying?
Science can only define so many things that we see right in front of us, but the reality is that there are so many factors of our lives that are so individual to ourselves. There's no science behind it.
Yeah. Me, for example, I've always grown up a very quiet, like, soft-spoken guy. For some reason, I've always been a very popular guy. In school, I'm speaking of school and my neighborhood in particular. There's a certain kind of attraction that I didn't realize early on that I had when it comes to, like, people just, you know, looking for somebody to hold on to. And I've always had this thing to where everybody was always like, you know, taking me in their arm and saying, "Hey, what's up? This is Franky. This is my guy." And that's always been my journey when it comes to the music business. I always end up not only just contributing to somebody's art or making art with other people or making art for people. I always end up as a counsel almost, because I care and I'm a listener. As much as I don't like hearing other people's drama, for some reason, everyone loves to call me with their drama because they trust me and they know that I'm not going to spread their business out, you know, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just going to internalize it. And I'm probably 9 times out of 10 going to give them my observation of them and what's causing the problem. And I'll tell them about themselves unapologetically. But I'm so soft-spoken that they accept it as not as threatful, harmful, you know, like they'll just be like, "Damn, like you just slapped me in the face and I liked it." You know what I'm saying?
People can be masochistic by nature, that's for sure. One of the problems that I have is that at some point they forget to ask how I'm doing, and they just come to me with their problems. They don't say hello. And then I feel very misheard, and it puts me in this very misunderstood place of being like, you know what? Like, I do need to distance myself from you a little bit because you don't see me as a human being anymore. You're starting to see me just as your pair of ears, and I cannot do that anymore.
Bro, we're the same people, man.
Yeah, we are. And you know what, though? I've set that boundary, and it reveals who my real friends are. And I'm very happy to say that when I've set that boundary in a healthy way, people still do come, and, you know, I'm still able to hear them out and they're able to hear me out. And I want to get better at telling people what I observe about them. I really do. So that's something I admire about you, for sure.
Well, let me offer you something.
Yeah.
That will really help you, because it's helped me.
Okay.
You mentioned that, yeah, there are people that will take your generosity for granted. And I'm here to say, from my perspective, that's fine. It's just about like continuing to be the example that you are. Don't worry about people walking all over you, because that shit's just going to happen anyway.
Well, Franky, I want to say I appreciate so much of what you said and so much of what you brought. I know that you've given some valuable nuggets for listeners, especially in the music industry, to pursue. And there's a lot of parallels to other industries. I remember, for example, there's a screenwriter that I'm personally friends with that has made it in the industry. And I sat with him one day, got dinner with him. And while we're sitting down and talking, I asked him, what's the best advice that I could ask for as a screenwriter? And his words to me were, just make the fucking script. Just make the fucking script. And that really is your approach, which is get it fucking done. You know, whatever you're trying to do, get to work. And you are a man full of intention and full of ambition, and your level-headedness is going to take you so far. I'm so excited for you, Franky. It's already taken you incredibly far. What is the best way that people can get a hold of you?
Instagram, DM, everything is at Franky Fade.
At Franky Fade. Sounds good. And finally, Franky, there's a question I ask everybody on this podcast. What will you be famous for?
I will be famous for my generosity. Generosity of information that helps people under me bring them up. Helps to bring them up. Sharing information is what I'll be remembered for. Not holding back. It doesn't make sense to just keep it all to yourself, because we have to help the next person, because when we're dead, then shit, that's it. That's all we do. Like we're born and we die. We're born and we die. So why not, pass it on. Make somebody else's life a little easier.
Franky Fade, everyone. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. It's really been great having you here.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening. This podcast releases bi-weekly on Fridays. To attend one of our networking events, visit the registration link in the show notes or go to www.mrthrive.com. Would you like to be a guest on our show? Email chaz@mrthrive.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.